Hey, Crypto Hotep here with another investing video. We're on week number 15 with the family portfolio. And if you're unfamiliar with the family portfolio, please do yourself a favor. Please check out week 1, which goes over my whole strategy, methodology in a nutshell for you. But to get a general idea, I listed out several stocks from research of established companies, and I asked my family to pick them based on where they would spend their last dollar if they had to. They picked their stocks respectively, and we used M1 Finance as our broker in technology because within M1 Finance, you also have the ability not only to manage your portfolio, but manage quote unquote pies, individual pies of stocks within your portfolio. So every pie in our family portfolio is dedicated to a family member, and that family member has their respected stocks in that pie. These videos are only to track activity, balance, the entire investment journey, emotions, as we go through it. And hopefully these videos will be found by my kids, by my family, and hopefully they're helpful for them. And hopefully they're helpful for you as you go through this investment journey as well. But with that being said, before we begin, PSA, anything we say in this recording or in my channel is not financial advice at all. Please consult a professional before you invest or trade stocks, crypto, precious metals, anything of that sort. Before we jump into this week's balance, we always look at last week's balance. Where do we come from, right? So last week we're at 685.53. I'm sorry if I'm talking quick, but I had a lot of technical issues, so I want to get this video out before these technical issues come out again. Over 7.5% weighted rate of return, and our dividends earned were $4.12. This week we did crack $700. Very humbling, I will say, because this is where we started the year 2024 with $131. Do not get it misconstrued. You do not need a lot of money start up to just begin that investment vehicle. We started it with a small account here, and we're just building as we go. Okay, we are up over 8.5%, and our dividends are $4.23. The activity in the account, we've had 4 buys today. Okay, so we've had Celsius and McDonald's, as you know, if you've been following it, following the channel, following the recordings and the tracking. Celsius is my wife, McDonald's is our oldest, but who is Target and Starbucks besides me? We'll check that out. We also had some dividends with Duke Energy, McDonald's, and then Google. Okay, and the big thing is with dividends, especially when you're starting off that small account, your dividends are going to be small. That's just the name of the game. You have a small account, you can only gain certain amount of shares, and maybe some stocks you can't even get shares because they're so great in price, but you still get some sort of dividend. So the focus shouldn't be on the actual price of that dividend, or the amount of that dividend, I should say. It should be the fact that you're consistently earning the dividend and consistently increasing your size so you can increase the size of your dividend payments. So we're going to my wife's stocks. My wife's stocks have been bleeding out as of late, down over 5%, mainly because of Celsius. Celsius isn't due to a correction currently. Google is withholding. Pepsi is withholding. They're down a little bit, 1.5%, not a big deal. But Celsius is in a correction. But as you saw from our buys, we are still buying Celsius. It's at a discount right now. Okay, our middle stocks up over almost 9%, 2 cents dividends earned. We got Amazon, we have Costco, we have Nintendo, the main players as always, but then we have Target. So our middle did add Target last weekend, just through a conversation, and just curious as to if Target had a dividend and if they had a stock. And I was very happy to hear those questions. And our middle said, I would like to own that stock, own that company is what they call it. And I would like to put that in our list. So we did. Okay. Our oldest just keeps it very easy. 2 companies, Apple, McDonald's. Apple is up over 27% and on a tear. Our oldest stocks are up over 6.25% with 25-cent dividend earned. McDonald's is down, but we are closing that gap currently. And McDonald's will have some news next week. I believe some price volatility will come about because they are unleashing their $5 value meal. Our youngest is bringing up here, and they are at the highest point that they've ever been. Almost over 9.5% rate of return and up over 2 cents with dividends currently. Okay, so we have the main players: Nintendo, Apple, Tesla, and Starbucks. So our youngest, our middle, had their birthday over the weekend, and we got them Starbucks, non-caffeine drinks, but we got them Starbucks. And our youngest noticed lines, noticed a lot of people going in and out, and noticed a lot of Starbucks near us. And the first question they asked: can I own that company? Do they have a stock? And do they have a dividend? And ironically, I said, absolutely. And Starbucks is at a tremendous discount right now because they are. But last but not least, we will look into mine, quote unquote dad stock. So up almost 5%. Dividends on year to date, $3.79, so not bad. As you guys know, we have our regular sectors here, and I did add a meme stock section to my portfolio. Now, before you roll your eyes, this section of my portfolio is only allocated to 3% of the value. So not a lot is going into this money wise, but I want some volatility and I want some fun. So these are the stocks that I've chose for my memes portfolio. We have CrowdStrike, DTE, Palantir, Hood, which is Robinhood, and UPS. The research I've done, honestly, are just social media mentions, lists, and that type of thing. So nothing really very technical going about these. DTE, I mean, my hometown, Detroit, I do love that. Robinhood, you can't go wrong with Robinhood. Palantir, I used to trade options on Palantir. CrowdStrike did gain some news by getting into the S&P 500, and then UPS also has a dividend as well as DTE. So all in all, a good site in terms of our dividends and our stock portfolio as a whole. So we are at $701.70, $4.23 dividends earned, a year-to-date weighted return of 8.6%. So all in all, we are looking pretty good here. As we look into analyzing stocks, we are looking at Aflac. So Aflac, the insurance company. In terms of the analyst forecast, right now it's at hold. There may be some downside to Aflac. I think Aflac is a really good stock, honestly. They are a dividend aristocrat. Their revenue, as we dive into the financials, the revenue has gone down year over year. But when you're speaking with an insurance company, they're a little bit different in terms of revenue. Okay. Even though their revenue has gone down, their net income and net income growth has gone up the past 2 years. Okay. We look at the balance sheet here. Cash and cash equivalents has gone up in 2023. The total debt has decreased over the 2 years, which is good. The one thing that we have here is retained earnings. We do have some retained earnings here, and these retained earnings have increased year over year, which I like to see. And as always, retained earnings is cash that you have not paid out in the dividend but can go back to that company, which is always good to see. And then again, with that cash flow, net income has increased. It has increased since 2021. Operating cash flow is down, so something to keep in mind there. And I believe we look at free cash flow. Free cash flow is also down, as well as free cash flow growth is down. In terms of dividend yield, the dividend yield is only 2.23%, so you may kind of roll your eyes at that, but the dividend growth is over 12%. Okay, the payout ratio for dividend is almost 22%, so way below my threshold of over 60%. And we can kind of dive in here and see, in terms of the dividends, it's been on a consistent rise for over 10 years. The dividend growth, there is dividend growth. It's been kind of a slippery slope here. But as always, I look at more of the dividend growth over the 10 years here. So very pleasant to see that. It is in my financial section of my portfolio. And, I'm very happy to hold Aflac for the long term. Believe in the company. They've been around for decades, and I feel really good about them. So I hope this video was helpful, guys. I tried to make this video kind of short. As I mentioned, I did have technical issues, so I want to hop off before those technical issues come about again. But as always, if you like the video, feel free to like, subscribe, comment on the channel. Hope this is helpful. And as always, thank you and happy investing, guys.